Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are wrapping up our coverage of the Super Nintendo, and I've got a number of memorable games to go through that I played as a kid. So starting us off, we've got Batman Returns. Konami beat 'em up plays similar to Turtles in Time. Very good visuals. It follows the storyline of the movie. It's more difficult than Turtles in Time. I can easily beat Turtles in Time, but this game I kind of struggle with, and I don't remember if I beat it or not. Part of me, I feel like I did, but my memory of like the last level that I got to in the game, I remember a level with the rocket penguins, so that's got to be close to the end. I just can't remember if I beat it or not, but it's a solid game. Donkey Kong Country. So this is a game that my brother got. I was getting to the age where I didn't really, I guess, care so much about playing platformers. I wanted games that were more serious in nature. And while I played Donkey Kong Country, it was more because I was curious about it. I was curious to see the visuals. The visuals in this game really blew us away. And I was a subscriber to Nintendo Power, and I got the behind the scenes VHS tape that they sent out to subscribers. So that kind of helped my interest, because they gave you some behind the scenes stuff in there. But really, I kept playing because I wanted to see what they did with the visuals. And the sound was pretty good too in this game. But at the time, I was just kind of like, yeah, this game's okay, but I don't want to play this game. I want to play something that's more serious. But looking back on it, I was a moody teenager that thought kids' games were below him. But it's a fantastic game, and I really do enjoy playing it. All right, you fans of Zelda are going to get excited. Here's the one time we're going to talk about a Zelda game. A Link to the Past. This is the first Zelda game that I ever really put any time into. I borrowed it from my friend, Mitch. Summer of '96. I went over to his house and he had it, and I was kind of curious. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I borrow this? Because I had never checked the game out. Like, I was aware of it. I wasn't really a huge adventure game fan, but it was The Legend of Zelda. Like, you knew it was going to be good. I played it for about a month, and I got stuck, and I kind of just lost interest in it and gave the game back to him, and that was it. But I did enjoy the game. I should go back and actually play through it and beat it. I know it would be a good... I know it's a good game. I don't know. I don't know if it's a genre that really fits with me, but I probably should at least give it another try since that was all the way back in '96. Mega Man X. So as a kid, I was a fan of the Mega Man games, but I was not very good at them. I didn't own any of them. This is actually the first and the last Mega Man game that I ever purchased. I played 1, 2, and 3 over at Brock's house. Well, I rented 2. I played 3 at Brock's house, and I played the first one. And I like the games. Visually, they look cool. Mega Man's an interesting character. I like the platforming, the shooting. But I was never really that great of them. But, the Super Nintendo comes out, and there's this new Mega Man game. So I was like, oh, I want to check this out. I bought it and kind of realized that at the time, I was just not good at Mega Man games. I kind of felt like I wasted my money because I don't know, I wasn't a patient kid, and I really didn't put the time into it to try to learn it. I kind of just got discouraged because I found the difficulty too hard, but it's a solid game. Shadow Run. I don't really remember why I became interested in playing this game because the box art doesn't really give you much to go off of. So maybe I looked at it and I saw the skull thing and was like, what's this? And flipped it over and then read the description and looked at the pictures. But this is one of 3 games that came out during the 16-bit era that I credit to me being interested in cyberpunk. And I really enjoyed my time with the game. I did go through it and beat it. I printed out a walkthrough of this thing that was numerous pages long because when I got to the end, I forget I think I used it to figure out like what the best gear in the game was and strategies, and then I went through it and beat the game. But I really, really enjoyed this game. Like the isometric view. It was a good time. Stunt Race FX. Not the most well-regarded game, but it uses the Super FX chip. And I was starting to become interested in racing games during the 16-bit era, and I really enjoyed my time with this one. I liked the 3D visuals. Yeah, it runs a little slow. The control takes some getting used to because the car physics aren't what you would say is realistic. They're all wonky, and like because your cars are almost like living things, and like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's weird, but I really did enjoy the game. I liked it quite a bit. I know that it doesn't have the best reputation. Super Mario Kart. Really interesting idea. Take your Super Mario Brothers characters, well, and Donkey Kong, and throw them into a kart racing game. Like, it was totally new at the time. I mean, it kind of spun off its own little genre, like Crash Bandicoot got its own kart racing game, but this game is so much fun, and I remember playing it and thinking, what a great idea to put your Mario characters in this fun, easygoing, like racing title. And really, really enjoyed this one. It seemed like everybody liked it, and everybody was just like, that's really cool. That's never been done before. You know, it was just a really neat idea, and everybody kind of wanted to check the game out. Super Punch Out. This is a game that we owned. It was my brother's game, and had a lot of fun with this one. You know, we rented Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and I enjoyed it. But we only rented it just a couple of times, maybe only 2 times. But when Super Punch Out came out, I know both of us were interested in it, and my brother got it and had a lot of fun with this game. I have memories of playing this game down in the basement of my grandparents' house at Christmas time with my cousins, and my brother like absolutely crushed Gabby J and like set a record that none of us could beat. It was, I can't remember what it was, but it was like unbelievable how fast he beat him. I kind of think it was luck. I don't think we really knew the strategies back then. He just happened to get lucky and knock him out. But anyways, great game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. With the explosion in popularity of fighting games, thanks to Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, everybody had to have a fighter. And so when I heard about this one, I'm like, oh, cool, it's Turtles, it's a fighting game, I want to check it out. And we took like this weekend trip. We all went, my mom, my stepdad, my brother, and I, but it was primarily for my stepdad. It might have been work-related, but we all went and we rented this game, and I got to take my Super Nintendo along. It was the first and only time we ever did that for any sort of like a vacation trip, because my mom, my brother, and I mainly hung out in the hotel. Like we went there for a day and he did whatever he needed to do, and then we went back home. But it was nice, you know, being in that hotel, and he had our only car. I had a new game that I never played to keep us occupied. So that's the most memorable part of that game, and that's why I own it. Top Gear. This was a game that I rented, and I would say this is my favorite racing game on the Super Nintendo. I had a lot of fun playing it. I like that the fuel gauge was in there for a little bit of added strategy, because I do remember running out of fuel in this game. But had a really fun time with this one. Turn and Burn No Fly Zone. So, being interested in the military and in flight simulators, I think when I bought this game, I don't know if we had our PC yet, but the visuals of this game really impressed me. I liked how the visuals were inside of the cockpit. Some flying games, your view was outside of the ship, but I really wanted immersion. I wanted to be inside the cockpit and, have the somewhat restricted view that you have when you're in there. And that really drew me into this game. not a lot of depth to it. It's kind of like, here's your mission, go out and destroy X amount of fighter jets and then land back on the aircraft carrier. But it had a Tomcat in it, and being a fan of Top Gun and liking the Tomcat, I was just kind of drawn to it. And wrapping up our list is UN Squadron. So this was a game that we rented shortly after we got our Super Nintendo. I saw the label and saw the fighter jets on there and the fighter pilot, and I was like, oh man, what is this? I want to check this out. I believe this is the first horizontal shooter that I ever played. And I'm not very good at it. I wasn't then, I'm still not now. But I like the game. I like the really big bosses that are in it. And I can remember as a kid, I was always more interested in buying the new fighter jets. Like, I didn't want to spend money on weapons. I wanted to save my money and like get a new fancy fighter jet, which I don't really think is probably the best strategy. But I'm still kind of that way too. Like, I'm in the shop and I see the list of fighter jets and it's like, oh man, I want that A-10 Warthog, or oh, I want this. And anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.